Heroes, gather tribute and earn my favor. Do it!
All right, and welcome to episode 104 of the Gankbush Squad. I'm your host, Fringe Average. For those of you listening for the first time, we are the only explicit Heroes of the Storm podcast where all the different hosts represent different play levels. For example, this week we have someone as low as a silver player all the way up to a master level player. We bring you the latest hot news and discuss the latest tips and strategies so that you can become a better player. So let's go ahead and introduce our master level support main. That is Scott, who's calling in from San Francisco, California.
Hey, good to be here.
All right, let's go ahead and introduce our other support master main. So that out of order. But either way, it's Bacon, who's calling in from Buford, Georgia.
Hey, so sorry for missing last episode, and I listened to last episode, and I could only stand one episode of you guys bashing me for placing in diamonds, so I spent the next day grinding until I got masters back. So here I am. I received some help, but to improve my play, and yeah, it's been working out.
Well, congratulations on being back in master.
Yeah, I should have never left. The placement system's broken. Right.
What was your placements? What did you do?
I placed Diamond 1 975 points or something. Like,
What was your record?
6-4.
Oh.
Yeah, that's weird, right?
Well, what you end last season? You ended barely in Masters, right?
I ended Masters 0 points, so that might have had something to do with it. But
so yeah, I don't know. I had some terrible placements.
Yeah, I saw. But you've been like grinding your way out of it. I'm impressed.
But just to throw this out there, because I think this was a terrible, draft. Because we talk about draft analysis. So the other team has a Hanzo, Sylvanas, Stukov, Blaze, and some solo laner, and I think the solo laner was Sonya, and this is Battlefield of Eternity. And the our team was Thrall, Muradin, I think we had Lucio and Artanis. So like, what are your thoughts for the last pick?
Some type of ranged assassin? Melee assassin?
Right. I mean, they got a Sylvanas, a Hanzo, a Stukov, and a Blaze in the farmhand. So they have pretty good poke. So far, we don't have a ranged. The guy who had last pick wanted to go. He wanted to go Valera, right? So I'm
makes sense.
Okay. Yeah, just makes total sense, right? We're totally not gonna just get our shit pushed in when they siege into us. So I said, dude, like, we need a range. Like, come on. So the last 5 seconds he switches to Tychus. And it's like, dude, how's that gonna help us with any kind of poke against, the Hanzo and the Sylvanas? You're getting outranged by both of them. So yeah, I mean, that was probably the worst game I had. It was just terrible judgment.
Well, anyway, we have a special guest.
Oh, sorry.
On that note,
I derailed the intro.
No, you're good.
So we have a special guest this week. We have Bahamut, who's calling in from Lake Tahoe, California. Is that correct?
Yep.
How's it going?
It's going good. We're halfway through the week, but I've been looking forward to this. Like, it's there's a lot of anticipation because I mean, this is a pretty cool podcast that you guys get to put on, and also there is a little a little worried that I'm gonna be talking, under two master players. So it's I gotta kind of like step up my game a little bit. So
Oh,
To be
don't
fair,
worry.
though,
First chance we
Alright.
get, we'll shit on your opinion. Don't worry about that.
there you
It's
go. See, spoken
No.
like a true master player.
But so actually, I came across you a few weeks ago when you were casting on Heroes Hype with a friend of the show, Hero Physio. And I thought you did a really good job. And then
Thank
it
you.
so happened that a week or two later, you casted the creators of the Storm tournament.
Yeah, I had actually been in contact with Daz. I think he got at me like a month or two in advance, and he's like, "We're putting this together. Are you interested?" I'm like, "I know half of these like podcasts. Like before I moved out here, I used to sit in an office in Michigan, and like that was my way of getting through the workdays. I would just listen to Heroes of the Storm podcasts like throughout the day. So, and it was like I could even like plan it out. Like it was almost like there was one for every single day of the week. So, it was definitely great.
All right. I have a quick question for you. All right. So,
Mhm.
what's your favorite HOTS podcast?
Oh God, you put me on the spot like this. All right, so I do want
Nice
to say,
shirt,
so
by
there
the way.
was-
I like
oh,
the shirt.
thank you. I was going through my closet and I was like, what shirt do I put on? I was like, Creators of the Storm. I just did that, and of course I have to. That
Now,
was.
now
and I got
please
to- of
move on
course
to your. Now please move on to your correct
Uh,
incorrect answer. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for trolling.
No. I'm drawing a blank on the name. Now that you put me on the spot, I'm just like, because it's got Garrett Weinzierl on it and Kyle Ferguson, and I cannot think of the name right now. And I listened, like that was the one that actually got me
Starts-
introduced, and then I just started branching off.
Starts with
Ah,
an I.
Excuse me.
Starts with an I.
Oh God.
What?
Into the Nexus. There we go.
Yes.
Thank you. Yes. And then
Yeah.
I started jumping on like Lords of the Storm, and there's just like after that it was just podcast after podcast after podcast.
So that question if you don't know, for those of you who are listening who don't know, that's an inside joke because Bacon was asked 5 months ago what his favorite show is, favorite HOTS podcast, and he said Core. So so it's okay if you
Core
don't.
is,
choose
I
it.
really do. I will say that was one of the podcasts that I really started to like because they did that game show, and I was just like, oh my God, that got me through some of the work days because I was just like, I can just tune out and just this is so much fun.
No, that has zero context to it because the Trolls GG put on a little segment called Nexus Feud where we played like Family Feud style Nexus topics, and one of the surveys says was favorite HOTS podcast. So I thought the community answer would be Core, but obviously it was the Nexus Trolls because it was a Trolls GG community survey.
Of course.
Yeah.
How fitting, also.
So tell us a little bit about yourself. So how'd you get into casting?
I actually, as I said, like I'm not originally from here. I'm from Michigan, and I couldn't stream back then. And I actually started playing in chair league a little bit, and then I was like, I'm not that competitive of a person. Like, I enjoy the game, but I like team and all that. Like, there's so much pressure that goes into it. So I've actually started following Haloran quite a bit in his casting, and I gave it a shot a couple times. When I finally moved out here, I wanted to commit to it. So the last 8 months, I've just been gravitating towards as many games as I can possibly get. I met a couple teams, and I literally started just casting just their scrims in between, seasons of Chair League and the Nexus Gaming Series. And so there's all these different, small communities that throw leagues together. And I just kind of started growing and just talking with people. That's actually how I grew in game knowledge as well, is just doing these scrims. I would actually get feedback from the teams. They would actually message me and be like, oh, actually you mentioned this in draft, but we were actually thinking this. And that's actually how I grew the most. And I met a bunch of actually higher tiered players, and they kind of educated me a little bit more. And there's a lot of that kind of stuff. So I just really just put my head into it because I fell in love with the game, and I really, really enjoyed the observation, the casting, the production, and I just kept going from there and pushing myself.
Nice. And now you're are you part of like the Heroes Hype network now?
Yes, so I do video editing for them, and right now for at least stage 1 of the open division, I am doing the hosting for the on air, which is the weekly recap for what's happened between the North American and EU division. So definitely catch that on their YouTube page. They've been putting out phenomenal content, top 5 plays. They have that podcast every week. Not to just plug other things on your channel, sorry, but
No, go for it. We want you. We want
but definitely,
you to do that.
but definitely, there's the recap that's done once a week, and I do the host for that. I do the talk over, and then there's some highlights within there as well. And the top 5 is really, really cool because it's EUNA.
So what do you like watching more? European games or North American games?
I'm a sinner. Korea.
Okay.
The aggression that comes out from Korea is always really, really fun. And then their draft styles are the most dynamic, I would say, in the fact that you see a lot of things that they're willing to try and push some things on some maps that a lot of people have just been like, that won't work, period, because of the way the meta is. And I mean, who was the last team you saw in EU and NA like busting out a hammer on Team of the Spider Queen and doing it flawlessly?
Yesterday.
But I mean, that's one of those things too. It's just like the drafts that come out from Korea and the fighting and the overall aggression and speed is really what I gravitate towards. But between North America and EU, to actually give you an answer, I still go towards EU. Sorry, NA.
NA's creeping up though.
It is.
Yeah.
I will admit that. Yes.
And so also thank you, Grizzly, for the 69 bits that you gave us in chat. So that's very appreciated by everyone here. Okay. So where can they find you? Like, can you plug your Twitch?
Oh, of course,
Twitter?
of course. So I'm just Bahamut Gaming on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube. I think it's Play with Bahamut, I think, on Facebook, but it still pops up under if you can find it through YouTube and all those. Overall, I mean, yeah, those are just my connections. I'm streaming Heroes as much as I can. I got kind of distracted on this new game that came out, this Darwin project, but they have this interesting casting mode where it's literally part of the game. You can just observe and cast and affect the battlefield. So kind of playing that in between as well.
Is that what you did last night?
Yeah, that was that observing thing that I was doing a little bit last night before I switched over to Hero League. It's I don't know, like it's decently priced on Steam, and I don't know, the mechanics of it are really, really, really simple, and the games don't last very long. So I don't know. I gotta say it's a good time right now.
So I'm just curious. You don't have to admit this if you don't want to, but
sure.
on average, how many hours a week are you watching something HOTS related, whether it's streaming, casting, playing?
I actually get made fun of by my friends because if I send them like friends back home, if I send them a Snapchat, they'll be like 9 times out of 10 there is something Heroes related running in the background. If I'm working, which I work from home, like I will throw on. If I've missed like a day of HGC because it's on super early or I've left the house, I'll just catch up on that. Like I try and catch every HGC match. Like Open Division, I'll usually throw that on the background. Like it's pretty much always on, always around me.
Holy crap! So you're probably like more informed than anyone here.
No. I mean, because at the same time, like I'm working, so like sometimes things get tuned out. But I mean, it's just I just try and soak up as much of it as I can because I love the community and I love just the game itself and how much fun I have with my friends in this and outside of it.
So speaking of love for the community, I have a question. So when you were casting with Hero Physio, that was your first time casting with him, right?
Right.
So how much of a troll is he?
Not at all. Honestly, not at all.
You lie.
The answer I could tell you got trolled.
Yeah.
Maybe.
He trolled you with his niceties.
So he trolled me so hard, it didn't even feel like I got trolled.
Exactly.
I find that hard to believe.
He's like the anaconda from Jungle Book. He draws you in with all the niceties and it strikes you with fucking poison.
See, that was it. Like that's just the buildup right there, and then the next time it's just that's going to be the strike. Is the next cast, or the next time I get pulled into something working with him.
Yeah.
Well,
it's very subtle too. If you're not paying attention because you're like, oh, he's such a nice guy, it'll just go right over your head because it's just like, oh, he doesn't mean anything by that. But then it's like, no, he's actually just like trolling you with whatever.
You'll be playing a game with him. He's on Ragnaros, and like, hey, we need a hero. We need to hammer that target, and then he just casts it off randomly in some bush. And he's like, "Oops, I misclicked it, guys. I'm sorry."
Yeah, or he'll go lava wave.
That's what I was, about to say. Or we just see a lava wave pop up, and it's just like, "Oh, you wanted that talent? Sorry."
Yeah. We may have a comp that's like Tyrael, Kerrigan, like a chain CC. And he's like, no, I'm gonna go lava wave anyway. So.
Or I'll go Probius.
Yeah.
Complement that comp beautifully. Cherry on top.
Yeah. But thank you, Bahamut, for lowering your standards and joining us this evening.
Thank you.
So we have a good show for you today. So we're going to we're going to talk about Hotslogs has a new owner apparently, and then we're going to do a breakdown of the meta by doing a deep dive into a good portion of the characters in the game, and then we're going to do a draft analysis segment, and then we'll do a theory craft on what the new hero could be that should be released during the Eastern Clash, and then we'll do a new segment called Story Time with Fringe Average. And then
I wonder what that is.
And then so we have a good show. So some post production plugs. So we stream every Wednesday night. Sometimes, well, actually, we stream some Wednesday nights at this point at 9 p.m. Eastern. If you want to listen to us on iTunes or Stitcher, please go there. If you do listen on those hubs, please subscribe and/or rate and review us. That helps us out a lot. If you have any friends who play the game and also listen to podcasts, please spread the word about the show. If you'd like to join us in BNet, please join our channel called Win Time. One word, Win Time. Also, I found out from talking to our listeners that if you belong to too many chats, you can't join. So if you try to join and you can't, it's because you're joined to too many chats. Also, we have a Discord channel as well if you want to talk with us. Also, if you have any emails, please email us at podcast@gangpushsquad.com. We have a Patreon. If you go to patreon.com/gangpushsquad, you can go there and support us, and all the money we get goes towards going back into the community and/or getting pro player level casters and players on the show. And also we have a YouTube channel that's where we post the VODs right after the show up onto YouTube. Also, if you go to gangpushsquad.com, you can find links to all of the aforementioned content hubs. Also, this week we don't have any music this week because this week I'm playing clips of Stephen Hawking doing jokes. So we have a Simpsons joke at the start, and then we're going to have a Big Bang Theory clip at the end of the show. So no music this week, but because if you don't know yet, Stephen Hawking passed away last night, and I wanted to do a brief little tribute to him. So with no music this week.
Rest in peace.
Yeah. And lastly, so we have the Bush League. We actually have a forum now. If you go to the Discord, you can find a link to the forum, and we're teaming up with the Nexus Trolls, and we actually have enough right now for 4 teams. So how it's going to work is that every team will play one game every Monday, and we have a caster in line to do the games for us, and it's going to be Stixa, and who was Bahamut's co-host during the Creators of the Storm, and he'll be doing our casting of our games. So if you want to join us, please go there and sign up. Also, if you can also we're going to play every Monday night from 6 p.m. or 9 p.m. Eastern to 10 p.m. Eastern. So if you want to join, just sign up. Even if you can only do every other Monday, you could still play as an alternate. Also, we already have team captains in place, so it's going to be me, Daz from the Nexus Trolls. We're going to have Tara Baron volunteered. Actually, no, Tom Baron wanted to be a captain, so we're going to have Tara Baron as a captain.
Oh, the Tower Barons.
Well, he already has
fan favorite.
He has a team name already, so he will unveil that next week. But and we also have Zextrus from the Heroes Power Hour, or the RIP Heroes Power Hour. He's going to be a captain as well, so it's pretty cool. And if you guys sign up, if we need to have more teams, we'll definitely have more teams. So if you're interested, please go to the Discord.
Wait. Where do Scott and I fit into this?
Well, you guys never said you guys wanted to play.
Yeah, I didn't sign up. I play softball on Mondays.
Yeah, Bacon, would you like to play?
No.
Yeah.
No, I'd like to participate, but I feel like if I were to join, it'd be too, I don't know.
But Daz is a diamond player. Mystic is going to play.
I guess I'll take a look at the player pool, and then if I can fit in, I guess I'll join.
So if it's up to your standards, then you'll play with us.
Ooh.
Oh, yes, that's exactly what I mean.
Yeah. Okay. I think I may have to make an executive decision and not and ban you from the league because you're up on your high horse.
Nice.
I guess so.
The real question is Zextrus going to be trash talking every week?
That's good. I want to be trash talk.
Super entertaining.
Is he going to be the self-proclaimed bad guy?
Of Creators of the Storm was his trash talking.
The self-proclaimed bad guy of just going into every single interview and just trashing the opponent. No matter
And
what.
every-
It was so good.
every other community is like, did we ask for this? When the hell did this? Where was this meeting?
I could imagine some of the people that were playing with them that were just like, dude, this guy doesn't represent our team. Why is he the spokesperson for our team? Come on.
But actually, he's been on the show and he's actually quite nice.
Oh, he's great.
I've actually
Oh,
I've
yeah.
casted with him before a ton of times.
I just thought that was thoroughly entertaining. That was
Oh, yeah.
probably the best part of Creators of the Storm.
Well, I mean, when
This
Zix
guy
gets into it,
sucks.
he loves it. Yeah.
So I talked to Tyler Baron this morning or this afternoon, and I told him to his face that my only goal is to beat his team and only his team. So that's all I want to do is beat Tyler Baron's team. So, but anyway, so we have a good show. So all right, so Hot Slogs is now part of the ZAM network.
Yes.
Okay, so it looks as though that the owner, the previous owner that everyone kind of dislikes or disliked, is no longer a part of Hot Slogs. So, and they said that the ZAM network people said that they're going to make it more robust and a new look to it. So, any thoughts on the new Hot Slogs thing?
Yeah, it looks nice, I guess. Looks a little bit updated with what they got. The ZAM network actually has some of the largest community sites for their game. Like Wildhead for World of Warcraft gets 60 million visitors a month. They have a League of Legends website that gets about 9 to 10 million a month. Hot Slogs, I looked it up before the show. It gets about 3.5 million a month. So it's definitely on the low side because our community's smaller. But yeah, it goes from one guy just barely keeping the website up to a team of guys who are actually invested in making the website better. So it should be better, maybe. But also the ZAM Network guys are known for loading their websites with a lot of ads and making the website very sluggish.
But to be fair, like I've been a paid customer for a while now. It's like what, 80 cents a day? Right?
A month.
Yeah, sorry, 80 cents a month, right?
Yeah.
So for me, that's like no big deal. I'll pay that. All right. Yeah.
I'm
go
not
for
sure.
it.
Yeah, it's the whole thing is like because it's all upload based and like it has some credibility, but like it's still one of those things that like I don't, I'm no programmer. Like I can't, go into depths about APIs and stuff and how it all specifically works. But like it's one of those things that it's all user based. So like it's for me, it's like it's a big old grain of salt, and that was one of the things that like I was like I'm always really skittish about is because like whenever I find out information from Hot Slogs, I'm just like. But that's based on what's uploaded rather than what's actually pulled statistically from the game. Now, unless they've actually finally changed it, because I thought that was one of the big things that they released when they said that they're working on an API, but I don't know if that's fully actually been introduced. So I'm a little hesitant about it, but I'm still excited that it is going to be under a bigger name. It does have a bigger, production behind it. So maybe that is one of the things that will come with that.
I'm actually what excites me the most is that a lot of people stopped using Hot Slogs because they didn't like the guy who ran it because he would put like malware ads on it.
The
and
website was shit.
Oh, it was super sluggish, and that's around when I stopped using it myself too.
And that's the number one reason why it's lost credibility is the website went to shit. Like it just eats your resources and slows down your computer, so people stopped using it. So the information it gave used to be very credible, like a year and a half ago. Now it's probably has less than half the games uploaded.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly haven't uploaded a single games in probably 2-3 years at this point. Or well, that's over exaggeration because the game hasn't been out that long.
It's still the closest thing that we have to an API, so there's that going for them, and maybe that's why ZAM invested and bought the website. Like there's the community created HOTS API that they're doing, and and there's also hero counters, but I think heroes counter also uses Hot Slogs data. So
yeah, I think they had there's a website that they did release not too long ago, if I'm not mistaken, but it's still one of those things that it's only pulling data from users that are uploading, and that's where you get into the discrepancy in data, because I mean, almost every single master player that I've talked to, they're just like, I don't like it. I don't use it. I just don't upload my replays. So that's still a huge portion that is still missing from our pool, which would be great to have, and it's good to see it in a snapshot meta. But until we get more concrete, it's going to be hard to kind of really back that information.
Yeah, I don't know. I think this new owner could maybe get more people to participate and upload their stuff. I think so.
Oh, yeah.
I'm definitely excited about the opportunity, because I think Hotslogs at this point, Hotslogs is probably the best bet. And there is Heroes Counter, and actually I upload my data to both.
Mm-hmm.
You know, after every week, I'll just upload them all. You know, I'll take a shower, just upload it, and then come back and I'm good. So, but all right. But also, I wanted to thank very briefly that thank you Zunicorn for the bits, and also thank you to Joe Jitney for the bits as well. So we all appreciate that here. All right. So anything else on the Hotslogs thing? Okay.
No.
Good. Great. All right. So right now, what we're going to do right now is we're going to do a deep dive into the meta, because the new season started last week or two. Was it last week? Last week, right? I forget.
Yes,
Tuesday.
It's been like 8 days.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a deep dive in terms of like a lot of characters and figure out where they belong in the meta. So if you play ranked play, should you prioritize this character? Where do they fit, and so forth like that. So on Saturday or Sunday, Sonya, they fixed the bug with her block ability. So Bahamut, what do you think about Sonya now?
I played around with her a little bit, and I've gone up against it. I've casted it, and it seems like it's not bad. It's not great. It's kind of that middle ground, and we've seen other heroes that I'm kind of peeking on this list already that are kind of going above. So I wouldn't say she's fallen to a point where unplayable, but I think that there's a shift in priority.
So if you're in drafts, you're not trying to prioritize her in the first half of drafts, you would say?
No, I would still leave her in the 3, 4, 5 slot, in my opinion.
Okay. Now, are you referring to like your personal rank, or like at higher levels of play, pro play, or?
I mean, I'm looking at this. I casted for the Nexus Gaming Series. I casted the Division B quarterfinals and semifinals, and also the Division A. So that represents anywhere from goldish to platinum in the Division B, and then platinum, master, grandmaster, or in diamond and such. And so, that's one of those things where I've looked at her in both situations, and she still, I think, falls in that kind of later half of the draft. I don't think she's a high priority. We see, I don't know, am I allowed to jump around the list at all, or just we're going to stay with Sonya?
Go for it.
Because in relation to those, draft slots, I would actually put Blaze way above the Sonya, and we have actually seen the Blaze prioritized even in Grandmaster games, and in my games I've seen priority under the Blaze because he has really good initiation. And Sonya she's changed, and she has more sustain, honestly, and that's why I think she goes more into the later half of the draft, because she can be more of a responsive pick rather than a priority.
So if Blaze didn't have Bunker, would you still feel the same way?
No. Bunker is so powerful.
Because I feel as though that in coordinated play, Bunker gets way more value, but like if you're playing Hero League, Bunker doesn't really have nearly the impact.
Yeah, that's very true.
It can. It's just, and I don't want to put like a heavy emphasis on it, but like voice comms does help. And the other thing too is just some teammates they know, and some teammates they don't. I've had Blazes drop bunkers. We all jump in. We rotate in and out of it, and we use it in a fight perfectly. I've had Blazes who drop it on the outside of a fight, and they're just like, it's because they were like a little low, and the damage over time might have killed them. So that's why it's here and there.
All right, so Scott, what do you think about Sonya?
Well, she was godlike when the bug was going on. Yeah, I mean, she was stupid ridiculous, but now they, on top of fixing the bug, they nerfed the block talent. It grants charges slower, and the charges are weaker. So, I mean, she's solid, but she's not like top pick material. I think from what I've seen the last like week or so, because I've probably put in like 40 Hero League games in the last week. The meta just over the week has shifted to a little bit less melee heavy, and especially after she had the block nerf and the bug fix. You know, she's all about being in the melee and whirlwinding in people's faces. So with the shift away from not as many melee and the adjustments to her, I think she's a little bit weaker now. So yeah, she's more of a reactionary pick, or if you want a solo laner, she's still very good.
I still see a lot of Sonya bans when people are trying to think of what could they take as a solo laner when the enemy team we're basically not afraid of Malthael now, and a month ago he was the best solo laner for like a hot week.
Unless you're in silver though. So,
really?
I've had some Hero League silver games where Lacerate's Malthaels just absolutely destroy, and it's like, well, was the Lily pick necessary?
Yeah, like Sonya's a priority on the 2-lane maps, and the other ones she drops down significantly.
All right,
I've seen a lot of in terms of healers. I've seen a lot of Stukovs, like Lucio's Uthers.
Stukov's the new hotness ever since HGC.
Well, that's good. Shad did that.
Yeah, ever since the Eastern Clash, Stukov has been the hotness.
I've seen a lot of bad Stukovs too.
Yeah, I've seen very few that play how Shad was playing them with the pustule immediate silence and ignite the pustule to slow.
I feel like if someone goes Stukov 1-2 in their draft, just go all dive and just fuck him up because he has no cleanse, right? Just dive him.
The only thing with that, I would. Oh, go ahead.
No, go for it.
The only thing in my opinion in that situation in draft sense is that he has some decent counter for the dive, especially post 10 with the flailing swipe disengage, because any large dive onto him is a massive disengage at that point. And the other thing too is if you do draft a very divey comp, you can just pick up a Gul'dan in that situation as well. And that Horrify does give you, if you do dive on him, Horrify separate, you get a pick, then you snowball that fight in your favor.
Will that
double
happen?
tanks.
Wait. Sorry. Bahamut, will that happen in silver? You think people are smart enough to figure that out?
No.
Well, just as much as will there be coordinated,
Malthael.
just as much as will there be coordinated dive to pop a Stukov within the first 1 or 2 seconds of a fight.
Actually,
You're
it's a good
asking
point.
just
That's
as
a good
much.
point.
And you
That's a
got
good point.
dive pretty deep to get a Stukov because, Stukov doesn't have to be anywhere near the front line. He can be way back until he needs to, toss his heel on the front liner, and then he can just back up again. He doesn't have to be anywhere near the front line. So to commit to dive that deep, you need certain tools to enable that. It's not just any dive comp will work.
And
To play
double
devil's
tank,
advocate. Oh,
double tanks
Go
in the
ahead.
meta right now too. And if they draft a comp that is designed to dive Stukov, then you also need to adjust your play and protect Stukov. So that's and pick double tank and make sure that you buy precious seconds for Stukov to heal himself or use flailing swipe correctly. I mean, there's ways you can do that.
Are we
Well,
still
then-
looking at this in a silver sense?
Just a general sense.
Okay, because I was gonna say, because you also have to think of, because you were talking about in the backline, Scott. You also have to realize, like, I've seen Stukovs who are just like, oh, I hit like a tour bus. Let me go ahead and just walk to the front line, get an auto, and then I'll back off. So you get Stukovs like that, where like you don't really have to really dive that backline because they're gonna walk right into your trap.
Yeah.
So I was just a little devil's advocate for that one.
Yeah, so like when we do these, like everyone plays at their own. Because we've said this before many times that like the meta in bronze is completely different than gold, right?
Oh, yeah.
And gold is completely different than plat because you have a lot of gold people in plat. But then you also the meta in diamond is completely different than masters, and grandmaster is completely different than diamond and almost different than masters. So we try to do our best to provide analysis from every person's point of view. So. But so if you either have to outpoke Stukov or you dive him, right? Right. Those are the two options you have.
Yeah.
So
Well,
are
if
you
you're able
poking
to
him?
read if you're able to read his lurking arm, because most Stukovs trying to bait themselves into thinking I'm gonna channel it for 2 to 3 seconds so that I get value out of the arm, and they get stuck if they're in a bad position, and then they just stay in that bad position because they're also committed to the lurking arm, and you can catch them out sometimes, and just random things like that.
I mean,
But that's
there
all
has
positioning based.
there has to be. I just feel like if there's crowd control, then Stukov can't do anything. You know, once he drops his silence, then you engage because he can't stop it no matter what, right? Other than the flying swipe, but pretend he can't stop it.
Yeah, that's why the Stukov's got to be very careful on when he silences and pick the right spots. But I mean, even if you do a bad silence, hopefully you're smart enough to not be on your front line, and then you just cancel it, and you still have your pustule to slow anybody who tries to run up to you.
Ragnarok says in chat he doesn't do particularly good against burst. Good enemy teams will look at his build and poke until his kill switch is down, then punish. That's also why one good spread at level 4 is also pretty popular right now. Is if it spreads to 3 total targets, your healing pathogen, then your healing is reduced by 3 seconds or something. So it lets you use your healing more often while in poke situations without using your trait. So
yeah, and also thank you Grizzly and Ragnarok for the bits as well. So definitely appreciated. All right. All right, so Pedro in chat says, I think the problem is him staying safe and staying away from dangerous situations, and then when enemy team engages someone from his team, he comes with the silence and then so OP. So I don't know. I think obviously Stukov is the hype now, but I think that he should be figured out like by now or pretty soon.
It's one of those things that like it's just he's got a lot of interesting items in his kit that I think do disrupt a lot of fights, and it really starts. I mean, you can see it in almost any game. The moment lurking arm goes down, and people literally will walk around it so that they don't have to engage through it. The other nice thing with him too is he sieges really well. Like look at Tomb of the Spider Queen. People go for the enlarged area at level 1, so that way you can literally throw it on the gate. And sieging with that is so difficult because most of the time, if you did go for a flank, it's such a tight corridor that a flank would be easily countered. So, it goes back to how Scott was defining the positioning for him. And in that situation, it's really, really good because he just pushes and pushes and pushes. And the only way is to actually just get them in a fight where they're retreating out and maybe they extended too far. Or as Rag said in chat, burst.
he's one of the few heroes that offers, as a support, that offers that kind of CC or, silence, deniability, whatever zoning that he offers. Yeah.
All right. So go ahead, Scott.
I was just gonna say he has some of the best playmaking potential as a support. As most of the people who are playing him have witnessed in the Eastern Clash by watching Shad.
He was he was easily the MVP of that final series, even though he lost. Like he single-handedly won a couple games for them.
Yeah, he was the MVP of that tournament.
So back to what Bahamut said about Blaze. So Scott and Bacon, if you're in your league, suppose you're on Cursed Hollow, would you rather have a Blaze or a Sonya on your team?
Depends on team comp.
Well, suppose they're saying what's first pick, Blaze or Sonya? Which one are you telling him?
Probably
say
Blaze.
Yeah. She's top bruiser for sure, and in terms of tanks, he's like top 3 easily.
Okay. Would you ever want to go? This is an open question to everyone, but would you ever want a Sonya Blaze?
Yep.
That's why. Oh, okay.
I think it's actually draft-wise, I think it's a great first pick because we've seen Blaze be a solo tank. We've also seen him be a solo laner. So you can actually control a little bit of your draft with that first pick. And then the Sonya offers quite a bit of an engage. And then you've also got a lot of good utilization of having that bunker as well. So if there is any sort of Gul'dan poke, because we have seen that on Cursed Hollow, if we're still staying on that map, like I do think that there is the reset that you get from Bunker can be very big for them, and then Wrath of Berserker or even Leap. I mean, if you even want to kind of meme, both of those are still a strong option as well, I do think.
Also, if Blaze is on top of his oil spills, it offers easy cues for Sonya to get in because of the movement speed slow.
Okay. All right. So another bruiser, Tyrael got his rework about 6 weeks ago, give or take. And where do you think Tyrael fits? Because I think for the first like 2 weeks he was really good, and then they nerfed some of his W talents. So what do you guys think about Tyrael now? Let's go to Bahamut first.
Oh, I've seen him play as a solo lane bruiser, and I think it can work. I saw Dragonshire is often where I see it, and I do think that it is strong there. But even then, as a solo tank, I still think if played well, he can be a very frustrating person to deal with. He works in really good dive comps as well as control comps too, because of oh boy, I'm thinking of not Sanctification, Holy Ground.
Judgment.
I mean, Judgment is. I've seen. I mean, there's some Judgment burst stuff that I've seen is insane. Leap Judgment. I mean, if we want to go back to Sonya, Leap Judgment is kind of interesting.
I feel like he's kind of overlooked now because with Blaze and Sonya, I feel like that people forgot about. I mean, the cool skins came out and they played him for 2 weeks and then they kind of forgot about him.
He's not that prevalent in the Hero League meta because his best assets are used in an organized team. Like for the Hero League meta where you have less coordination, he doesn't offer as much. He doesn't have much in the way of crowd control. The way you use your shields isn't going to be anywhere near optimal because I guess now with voice comms it's a little bit better, but most people aren't going to coordinate when Tyrael is going to shield when that's on cooldown.
I don't know. I think with voice comms, especially at the higher level, that actually helps Tyrael, right? So I think at the lower level, I think even at the lower levels, he's still good if you're above average with him. But I think a lot of the problem is that lower levels they always go Judgment for some reason with him, and it can work. But
it makes more sense to me if and the lower level going
Yeah.
Judgment.
'cause
Easier
you
to
isolate
use.
someone?
Easier to use. It's less dependent on teammates taking advantage of it. Like
Helps secure kills.
Yeah.
It's the same reason why I've actually had my friend even tell me, he's like, I've played support in Hero League games. I don't take cleanse because I just don't know how to use it. Like I don't know when to cleanse. And so it's the same kind of argument for Sanctification. Judgment's easier. It's like I can dive someone and just go ham and then explode and potentially get a kill. That appeals. I mean,
it's also why a
Yeah.
lot of Uthers pick Divine Storm instead of Divine Shield, because you'll Divine Shield the Grey Mane to get a couple extra hits, maybe a kill or two, and then he's using the extra movement speed to walk back away from the fight. You're like, you
Yeah.
bitch.
Anna,
Well, a lot of Uther's Divine Shield when the Grey Man's 20% and is just like, fuck, I gotta get out, and he's already retreating. He gets the Divine Shield instead of, I'm gonna Divine Shield you to engage and get these kills.
Yeah.
I got two really quick. Anna, Nano Boost, Lieutenant Morales Stim Drone. Every single time. You nano boost someone as an Ana, they run out of the fight. You Stim Drone the Vala who's like in there getting damaged, they vault out and just, they're done with the fight. And it's just like, what? Come on, please.
Jane is like, oh, thanks for the nano boost. I was gonna tap mana anyways.
Yeah, just hold on, BRB. I gotta go get my well. I'll be back for the fight. It lasts that long, right?
All people always forget it gives you 200 mana, by the way, if you didn't know.
Yeah. But going back to Tyrael, another one of the reasons why he's weak is his wave clear. A lot of times you don't pick him as a solo tank, so he ends up being your offlaner. And with, the two prevalent bruisers / tanks we mentioned, it was Sonya and Blaze. They just destroy Tyrael in the offlane.
Yeah, I think that if he's best utilized if he's like part of the 4-man or part of the 3-man gank squad, then by himself, ideally.
Yeah, but then that requires a specific comp. revolving probably around dive and aggression because you're probably not going to have a second tank roaming with you.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. That's the one thing. If he had a little bit more wave clear, then I think he's probably better than Sonya, and
What's your
maybe better
opinion?
than Blaze.
What's your opinion? Is he better for dive or is he better for sustain? Because a lot of because his W talent at level 1 Justice for All makes him pretty freaking good, and there's also Law and Order at level 13 that pros have been picking more than Holy Ground, which is interesting.
Yeah,
But it
he's
makes him
in the pro scene. He's good for sustain, but I don't think that's the best way to utilize him in Hero League.
I think that the best part about Tyrael is that the rework was actually really good. Like, he actually has build diversity. He can fit. You can build it. You can build them for pro play. You can build them for diamond. You can build them for bronze and silver. So
yeah, and
Right,
in
so
Hero
what-
League,
yeah.
it's probably less about the sustained damage, and also it's more about if you get a good Holy Ground of, hey, kill this guy, he's completely isolated, and it's pretty easy to spot that target.
All right, so let's have an open discussion about the other bruisers. I think Artanis, Varian, and Leoric. I think Artanis' win rate was pretty high on hot slogs, so it was actually caught me by surprise because I don't, other than like BOE, Battlefield of Eternity, I don't really think of Artanis as very good. So maybe I'm missing something, and I feel like Leoric is kind of. I think he's still pretty good. I think he's obviously not as high in priority as like a Sonya or Blaze, but I think Leoric in the right hands, because if you get that level 20 silence with the Entomb, he's pretty good. But what are your thoughts? Let's go to Bacon first on the 3 bruisers.
Sure. And I looked at Leo and whatchamacallit, Artanis' win rates. They're smack dead like 50.5, 51%. So they're basically slightly above average. And I've seen a couple of Artanises in my games, not so it kind of really depends what the enemy team has. Like if you go Artanis on Battlefield of Eternity, that's also amazing, but against like a Grey main or a Cassia, auto attack heroes where you can get suppression pulse at level 10. That's the blind one, right? Suppression pulse?
Yeah,
that's amazing.
Yeah.
Because you see Greymane pop Wolfheart, and then you pop blind on him and say, oh, I guess I don't have a fucking attack speed boost for the next 20 seconds because you can't do anything with it. Variant, he's not good in this meta. It's so
I've seen more
snowball based.
variants the last like week or so than I have, the last month or so.
But
People
he's not.
seem to be picking him a little bit more.
He's not that good. Because
do you think though it might be on the rise of how we've seen a lot of Tracer and some a little bit of a lot more dive, and he kind of counteracts it a little bit?
I mean, he's a good pick against Tracer, just in general. Yeah, I agree with that. But also I've seen from the Clash that Grey mains are taking the auto attack range at level 7.
Okay, yeah.
That increases your attack range by 1.1, and it lets you get 1 or 2 hits off more on a Tracer that's running away, and that seems to be pretty effective. But just in Variant and in Hero League, where you can't, where teams don't, like, you don't get the level of coordination that HGC teams do. So it just snowballs. Like, so many Variant games, you're on the Variant team and you're level 7 versus level 10, and fucking Braxis Holdout, there's already a 100% enemy Zerg wave on the way to your keep. You're like, okay, what the fuck do I do now?
Yeah.
And by the time you're level 10, they're level 14 or some shit.
Yep. He doesn't become like a real hero until he hits level 10.
Yep.
Until then, he's just a half-ass damage dealer / tank.
As some of my buddies in Game of Thrones say, he's basically mercenary camps. Like, he's like a siege camp at level 1 to 4. He becomes like a little bit of a bruiser camp a little bit later on, and then 10, he's a real boy.
Yeah. And his mobility is low too. On top of being slow to come online, if you're losing a team fight, he has no retreat. All he does is just stands there trying to live, being super tanky. But You know, he has his dash, but that's only going into enemies. When he's got retreat, he has nothing to help him.
And he's got the two protections, but that's, you know, that doesn't get you very far usually.
Yeah. Don't play
Okay.
Varian.
Well, see, the thing is at the lower levels though, he still kicks ass. That's the thing. So I think Varian's still very good.
Yeah.
I think that you can probably almost go any build with Varian and get pretty good value out of him. But
I have seen Colossal Smash and Taunt, and I mean, point click stun, you win most games, but Twin Blade Variants don't typically win.
Okay, all right. Anything else? Are there any tanks that you guys want to talk about that wasn't mentioned?
I just
Not
want to
really.
say Leo's awesome on wave clear maps. That's my 2 cents on him. I think he's great.
I want to go back to Blaze and his bunker. Should his bunker be nerfed?
Yes.
Yes.
You know, I don't think it's that strong in Hero League, but watching HGC and at the pro level, his bunker seems like it's a little bit broken.
I mean, it's the fact that you counteract any sort of damage over time. I mean, it counteracts. Let's say you don't have a cleanse, you now have a cleanse essentially because Chromie's. I think it does interrupt Chromie's temporal loop, and so it's just everything is just shut down. So you just take Blaze, and that's why I was saying like Blaze in first draft slot and a good bunker coordination wise, 10 out of 10. And we saw it in the Eastern Clash, how well it did.
They also get cute, like hopping in and out, so they can reset the flamethrower cooldown more quickly. Like, all right, show off.
Yeah, like I think they need to change something about it. Maybe increase the cast time, because right now the cast time's near instant.
Ooh.
Or maybe like a 50%
decrease the armor value.
Or even like 50% to reset on the damage over time or something. Just make it so it doesn't take away all of it. So you still have that. Yeah.
What about just flat out just removing armor?
The armor buff you get?
Yeah. It's
I
25
think
armor
that's
for
important
2 to 3
Blaze.
seconds.
I could see that being a Blaze only thing, that he gets armor when he goes in.
Only Blaze then. That would be nice.
Oh, and then what if the 20 upgrade becomes you actually spread like 10 armor to your teammates? So it's not, Blaze will get the 25 and then the teammates will only get, 10, but that'd be at like level 20.
Yeah, the level 20 upgrade is ridiculous. You got 50 armor from the bunker.
Well, I'm just saying at this point, you maybe take away completely. You take that away, and you're only spreading armor. Just that now gives you the ability for armor for teammates.
Yeah.
Who knows? I mean, thoughts on that one, but I mean, yeah, it's just so strong in coordinated play.
Yeah. I mean, a cleanse that does damage on a 45, 50 second cooldown, that's just dumb as hell.
Okay. All right. Either way, all right. So I want to talk about melee assassins. So are melees okay? How viable are melee assassins now in the meta in general?
Not very.
Now, why is
Thrall.
that?
I was about to say Thrall. I've seen a lot of lately.
Yeah, but Thrall, the way he's played right now with Crash Lightning, he's a mage. He stands back there
in a sense, yeah.
Crash Lightning stacks. Give me stacks.
And then as soon as the team dives Thrall, he pops Earthquake, runs away, and does Envenom to heal up, and then pokes with fucking Crash Lightning again.
He's the top damage in most games he plays, but he isn't always top kills. Where a melee assassin usually gets a lot of kills because they're the guy who closes, but he's just in the back there casting Chain Lightning. I mean, half the time when I'm playing him, it's somebody dies me. Oh shit! Throw a wolf and run away.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. There's nothing more cancer feeling than you escape with 10% HP, you walk behind your gate, and the fucking lightning bolt bounces and hits you. Like,
yeah.
I got in a couple Hero League games, I got a double kill off of one lightning. That felt good.
Wow.
I was like, I'm skilled.
Yeah,
I
that's
pressed
not
Q on
nerfed.
a tower.
Yeah.
All right, so So the reason why I bring up melee assassins is because I saw that Kerrigan and Samuro still have, they're above 52% win rate, but they're only played like in 4 and 7% of games. So obviously they're very niche dependent. Samuro has always been very niche dependent, but I did see in the Western Clash where I think Tempo Storm used Kerrigan a lot. So is there something that we're missing with Kerrigan? Is it possible that she'll get used more as the meta evolves, or?
No, she's a niche pick.
I honestly feel like. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I mean, just watching it from the Western Clash and the way that I look at it is just Tempo Storm played a hyper aggressive style almost that entire tournament, and Kerrigan blends well into that, and I really think that's why we saw it work so well. And the other thing too is, I mean, she's got some good setup if you can catch the people, and that's the big part of it. Is it comes down to burden of execution, and they did it really well. But as you said, I mean, she doesn't get a whole lot of play because it's situational and a person being phenomenal at that point where you can set up a team to succeed with her. Otherwise, I think she gets bodied post 10.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I was going to say you got to be very good with her to make her effective on the battlefield. And Samuro, I haven't seen Samuro this season.
Yeah, his pick rate is like 4%, so it's pretty low. I think it could be all just the money one, the loot chest one. Blackheart's Bay, there it is. So maybe
I say melee assassins for the most part they're niche right now, except for Thrall. He's technically melee, but he's played as range. Butcher also has a decently high win rate, even at the Masters level, but he has like 1 or 2% play rate, so it's obviously in very niche, no CC blind comps that he gets last picked in that, just end up messing up the enemy team. But also, we forgot about Maiev.
True.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Maev's good.
Well, I have her as a ranged assassin.
She's not what?
I wanted to put Tracer in melee, but you guys would get mad at me. So
Maev is.
Oh, yeah. Bahamut, is Tracer a melee assassin or a ranged assassin?
Tracer is a range assassin. How so? I want to hear this argument. I want to hear this.
No. Bacon wanted to start a fight for no reason at all.
Yeah, we had like a 6-week long debate about Tracer being melee or ranged.
All right. So speaking about, is Thrall the best? Obviously, he's technically considered a melee assassin, but he's being played as a ranged assassin. But is Thrall the best ranged assassin in the game overall?
He's one of the best.
In terms of the time you need to invest to get value out of him, he's probably the best bang for your buck right now.
Yeah, he's easy to play.
Yeah.
Right. Because also, for those of you who are playing Thrall, we said on the show like 5-6 weeks ago that Thrall was very, very good. So if you listen to us, you may. Yeah, so if you listen to us, you could have gone, higher level in rankings because of it. But
well, it all comes back to the chain lightning rate jump increase. That is what buffed them.
Yeah,
and it was a huge buff.
So should Thrall be banned now in the first round of bans?
Depends on the map.
What if it's like a 2-lane map?
I'd put him up there.
Yeah, anything where you're gonna have a 1-4.
Yep.
He's high priority, and if I don't have the first pick on my team, I'm gonna consider banning him.
What about like Volskaya, where there's like long team fights around one objective?
Yes.
Yeah, that's one of his best maps.
Okay.
That was one of his best maps before the chain lightning increase.
Yeah.
All right, I'm just asking questions. All right, so let's talk about Maiev. I classify her as a ranged assassin.
How?
Because I said so. I don't know.
There you go.
But anyway, well, to be honest, though, I don't really see that many Maevs because she's always been banned. So, but where does Maiev now fit in the meta? So let's go to Bahamut now.
Oh, geez. I see her high priority first pick, first ban area. in casting. In silver, I think she kind of falls off because I don't think a lot of people know how to play her with the aggression that it's outside of a team environment. I think she's still strong, but you're still relying on your team. But in a team coordinated setting, she is absolutely destructive. There's so much setup from her. Yes, and I've seen her in draft, from Division C through A. She's first pick, first ban area.
She's also one of the.
Yeah. Go for
it. She also offers. She's able to dive without diving.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Because
so you're saying that she doesn't want to commit? She has commitment issues.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the first woman.
She's a free, strong, independent woman. She don't need no man. She can choose.
She has a career.
Yeah. There are like 500 setups around Warden's Cage. I mean, do you think of it? There's Warden's Cage Entomb, Warden's Cage Gravel Bomb if you really wanted to. I mean, Warden's Cage Ring of Frost, Warden Cage Mosh Pit. I mean, Judgment, Leap. I mean, there's so many phenomenal things that you can utilize with that. And so that's why she's so prioritized, because there's just, when 10 hits, the fight is so much more difficult.
Yep.
All right,
and
so
what I mean
where
by
does she fit? Where does she live? Where does she fit at the upper level?
Oh,
you just ban her and pretend like she's not there.
Well, I believe in the Western Clash we saw as a high priority on bans and picks for her still, if I'm not mistaken.
Europe banned the shit out of Maev after like the first day, I think, or second day.
I do believe because the first day it went through a bunch and NA just tore it up with her. And she just kept going. I remember, because I remember some of the announcers even saying, like, will they get the message and just start banning her? Like
90% of her play was in like the first day.
Yep.
Yeah. That's a good tell on how good she is, and how highly she's prioritized. And in Hero League, she's almost always first banned, along with Thrall.
Okay. All right. So I want to talk about. No, it seems as though like maybe 3 months ago, Greymane was like basically highly prioritized in every comp, and now I feel like he's kind of like he's been forgotten a little bit. Is there a reason why that Greymane is kind of he's lost some of his luster in the last month or two?
Because of Thrall, because of Maev, because of Tracer, and because of Blaze.
Yep.
Oh, okay. So basically, he shouldn't be. So it sounds like that he shouldn't even be picked anymore, because all those characters that you just named are pretty much in every ranked game,
unless they're banned out, and then I think he becomes the priority.
Yeah.
Yep.
Or if they're on your team.
Yeah. Blaze Greymane's pretty good. Yeah,
yep.
Blaze does the engage, you follow up, and the oil spill allows you to get a couple more hits before they can walk away. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So when should it sounds as though that Greymane should be picked in the later half of drafts. So when are you not picking Greymane now? How about that?
Ooh.
Blinds Arthas if they have a Maev.
Why did
melee?
Okay. So, but we're in a meta now where there's two tanks, right? So you'll have either an Arthas with a Muradin or a Tyrael with a Blaze, right? So it sounds as though that there's not really much of a space for Greymane then.
No,
kind of, sort of.
But he's definitely harder to play now.
Curse Bullet gets value, but you still need a team to follow up on that damage. Go for the Throat can be phenomenal to a squishy backline, because with the double tank meta that we have, we've often seen some squishier, backliners. I mean, Li Ming is definitely something we see in there, and Go for the Throat is definitely something that can blow her up, but it's just getting there is the difficulty.
Yeah.
Right.
He also has great siege potential. Like him in wolf form gets camps quickly. He can race bosses or race forts really quickly. He's also one of the best heroes in terms of dive. Just like if you get the E range at level 13 and you just follow up on whatever the tank is doing, and you just auto E, auto Q, auto, and then use Go for the Throat. That's like some of the highest damage you can burst in a second in the game.
All right. So Scott, do you see? You said you played like 40 games of Hero League, right? How many times did you see a Greymane roughly?
He's like in maybe one of every 3 games right now.
Okay.
That's
still pretty high though.
Yeah, I mean he's still decent. He's got high burst damage, but with a lot of melee, a lot of front line, it's hard to get to the squishy targets. It's hard to kill a tank if there's another tank to CC when one tank gets low. So it's hard to get value out of him, because getting value on him is usually dive. And ever since his Q build got nerfed, you're more about auto attack focus now.
So it seems as though that if you're really good with Greymane, then he's pretty solid. But if you're not, at least as long as if you're not good, or if you're less than good or below, then you probably can't play him anymore.
He's always been that way.
Yeah. Well, a month ago he was, good pretty much every single game. Now there are games where it's just like, I'm gonna pick someone else. I'm gonna pick a mage or something I'm gonna pick Thrall and stand in the back and just chain lightning.
Okay. All right. So we're seeing more Tracer now, and I've had a couple listeners and content creators tell me that there's something kind of broken with Tracer's playstyle. Like it just doesn't make sense, or it doesn't really fit into the game. So what are your thoughts, and just in general, Bahamut, with Tracer as a general character and what she can do?
Her closing can be devastating, but it's really just like it's actually getting in there, and the whole thing of shutting her down can be difficult, but it's something I think you have to see, analyze, and respond to in a draft, rather than like see it and just be like, all right, we can handle that. Because like if you have no way of stopping her, the speed boost that she can get, I mean, if a Tracer holds all 4 or all 3 Qs, just good luck trying to chase her. Like that's not going to happen. Rewind is a little unpredictable, especially in like I struggle to make sure that I'm catching where she will recall. Like sometimes I'm like, oh wait, I got this. Okay, I'll throw like a skill shot right there, and it's like no, it's like right over there. Like you were completely off. So it's one of those things that it's difficult if you get someone who can play that twitchy style, because a lot of the stuff in Heroes isn't twitchy. I mean, it's not about getting. I mean, yeah, team fights. It's you got to hit the keys at the right time, but you're not. Zooming around the corner, then recalling, and you're not just dancing around people consistently like this.
Yeah.
No, she's very hard to lock down. And the Tracer play is nothing new. She's been prevalent in the meta ever since the double support got nerfed. She was very prevalent in last season as well. If anything, I think I've seen her slightly less since the new season started.
Oh, okay. Because I could have swore in the Western Clash she was played a lot.
Yeah,
at least for her.
From some of the streams I've seen in the European meta, she's basically first ban.
Yeah, she's really good. Although in the Eastern Clash or the Western Clash, where Tracer was played a lot, Genji actually had a better win percentage. He was better at the closing, the kills.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think there was a lot of double reset compositions going into that as well. And his mobility is a nightmare to deal with in some situations.
Yeah.
All right. So
oh, by the way, for Tracer, when she uses her recall ability, there is a small flash of light that blinks on the battlefield.
I'm trying to find it.
That shows you like a second before she's gonna land at that spot. That's where like wherever her recall is gonna be, there's a flash of light, but it's really split second, and you get really.
That's the thing is, I know what I have to look for is just like tuning my mind for it. So like I focused a lot on like, and that's the one benefit of casting is like checking minimap. Like I've gotten really good at map awareness, but like looking for that thing is like, oh, that's the one tuning I can't get down.
For you support mains, look out for that splash, and if you're playing Malfurion, try to land the root on it. That's my new challenge for you.
Nice.
It's impossible.
All right, so this is a pretty easy question, I think, to answer. But is Vala pretty much dead?
Outclassed by other ranged assassins right now.
Yeah. With Hanzo's introduction into the game, I think at that point she just fell off.
Okay.
Yeah.
So speaking of Hanzo, where does Hanzo fit now? Because he was pretty good, really, really good for a while, but now he got nerfed. So is he in a good spot now? What do you guys think about Hanzo?
He's amazing.
He's a solid ranged, but he's not. He doesn't feel oppressively dominant like he did a few weeks ago. He seems like he's in a good spot.
I think he's good on some maps and better on others, and he's just kind of slotted pretty well. There's counters to him, and if you let him go, then he'll just destroy you. But as long as you manage him, I mean, it's like any hero. Like I think that they're balanced to the point where they've got a good spot. You can expect them on certain maps, and you don't have to worry about them on others. So I think he's great right where he is.
So quickly, you mentioned he's easily counterable. So if someone first picks, Hanzo, what are you doing to counter him?
All right, you Medivh Lost Vikings into. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, anything that you can actually get damage into that backline. So I've seen Li Ming, who lands a combo even early game, can almost take him down to no health, and that's one thing that at least a Hanzo in silver will struggle with. And even then Greymane. I mean, Bacon actually literally said the combo that will blow up Hanzo at 10.
That's kind of risky going in that deep as Greymane. You're probably half-life by the time you even get to him.
I'm just saying overall in a team fight, if you are playing some of these heroes, I do think that those things will blow him up and counter him if you can get into that. I mean, it does come down to the team fight, how it's played in draft, but those are just, I mean, my two things that I've experienced and definitely think that he struggles against.
Yeah, if you have a double support on your team, or not, if you have a double front line and you're a Hanzo, you're pretty much relatively safe to have free reign unless the opponent's team has somebody who's extremely good at flanking.
Yeah. I mean, we've seen it with, I've seen it with Genjis. I've seen it with, depending on the map. I mean, look at Battlefield of Eternity where he's often picked. That is such an open map where I think you can get a Greymane in there because you can definitely peel and start to split the fight around the Immortal. So I guess I should have, clarified my example a little bit more there.
Yeah. Or you go Abathur and just go double Greymane. Yeah.
But there's a lot like stuff Hanzo could jump over to escape there.
True.
He's always standing next to, a wall, and you dive him, he hops over and he's safe.
His jump range is overpowered now.
His jump range is huge.
It's true. Yeah. That is true.
He can jump from almost halfway into the lane back over his gate. Like, damn, might as well just make a freaking free range jump if you're gonna do that. But the Ragnarok in chat says, I absolutely love Chromie comboing a Hanzo with Temporal Loop. Obviously, that's a good.
That's a good one.
Double Greymane with Abathur. Yep. Great Dehaka flanks. That's amazing. Ooh. Yes, I got dominated by a good Dehaka. Oh my god.
Here's the thing. I was going to reference that game. I was referencing that lightweight when I said the flanks.
Yeah. As a Hanzo player, you definitely want to be positioned near a wall you can jump over, and usually walls like that have bushes near them. So if you're paying attention to that, good Dehakas will fuck you up. And make sure you Sonic Arrow correctly and anticipate that. Damn, a fully maxed out speed boosted Dehaka coming out of a bush, and you're like, fuck me in the ass.
All right, so lastly, Li Ming, she has the lowest win rate of any mage. I feel like that's too low, but any thoughts on Li Ming?
That's surprising to me.
Yeah, I think she's still solid on certain maps. She can be very good other maps. She's just like, I'd rather have somebody else.
Yeah, I don't know. I think she's good. I think, she's not good in every map, but I think her win rate should be higher. It should be like around 50%, if you ask me. But
I got one quick one because it's not on the list. Junkrat. How do you guys feel about Junkrat? Displacement.
Well,
random damage, if you will.
Is Hero Physio playing Junkrat? Depends. So, but I think he's kind of like annoying, but I think he's in the right hands. He's really good.
Yeah, he can feel extremely frustrating to play against. He counters dive comps very well.
Because I know someone in chat was asking about things that, what's good versus Maiev, and I was just like, Junkrat's, I've seen Junkrat's, a good concussion mine can just completely mess up the setup for Amayev. And even as Scott said perfectly, dive comps can completely get mitigated by it.
Yeah.
Alex Straza. Oh my God, Alex Straza.
Oh, her royal
Every
thickness.
time.
Oh man, I love Alex Straza.
I got baited like so many times trying to stand in the healing circle, and then Junker's like, "Oh, you're coming to me, thanks."
I played. I must have played like 5 or 6 games with Glaurung, and he was just spamming Junkrat like 2 or 3 days ago over the weekend.
Did he win most of those games?
A lot of them is.
Oh, okay.
He was playing on a Smurf account, so his MMR was lower.
Oh, okay. So he was just like a regular Masters player.
Yeah, and I was just like, "Who is this guy?" Because he wasn't like very good. I mean, he's obviously very good, but like he wasn't up to his like pro player standards, which was why I think he was playing him to learn him. But yeah.
All right. So anyone else in general that we missed?
I love Junkrat's Riptire, the wombo combo follow-up ability that you can have with that. Oh, it's just too good. His Riptire was a little bit.
Any wombo combo, that shit hits like a truck.
Yeah.
And
it has
a Hanzo to like 20% life.
Oh yeah.
And it has a lot of HP, so it's really hard to kill.
All right.
Before it gets off. Yeah.
All right, so there you go. There's our breakdown of the meta. And for those of you wondering about supports, it's either Malfurion, Lili, or Stukov. So yeah. So there you go. All right. So now we're going to do the draft analysis segment where for those of you listening for the first time, we tell you the map, we tell you the 5 picks for one team, and then we tell you the 4 picks for another team, and we all try to figure out which should the last character be. So this actually came from a listener. And this is a very, very weird draft, but it's so the allies, it's Cursed Hollow. The allies have Stukov, Diablo, Vikings, Zagara, and Medivh. Again, Stukov, Diablo, Vikings, Zagara, and Medivh. And the opponents have Lili, Kael'thas, Dahaka, and Falstad. So again, Lili, Kael'thas, Dahaka, and Falstad. So what's the last pick for the opponents? Any idea?
Need a tank. And
in silver, Dahaka's a tank. Let me just throw that little news bit out for you.
Shit. So my bad.
Depending on game, it could honestly be a Zeratul.
So one last thing is that this came from Joe Jitney, a listener, and I think I could be wrong, but I think he's in silver. So just take that caveat. I could be wrong about the ranking though.
But Zeratul sounds good to go
I only lean
Lost
on it
Vikings
against...
hunting, but that's also a silver level Zeratul we're talking about. So
it was either that or the Tracer, just because I was thinking sometimes they take that because they can capitalize on the damage over time and the sneakiness of it.
That's interesting. Damn.
I think in Discord, Grizzly said to go Sylvanas.
I'm gonna have to disagree with that one.
Why just
Sylvanas?
You're not gonna get much value out of her. Like, are you gonna be? It's Cursed Hollow, so you're not gonna be able to double soak with Dahaka very well. So you're probably gonna want Falstad and Dahaka both solo.
No, listen to this. Listen to this. This is that team with Sylvanas is actually not bad at sieging, right? And wave clear. There's enough there with Dahaka. So you stick that in the top lane. Sylvanas turns off all the buildings, and Falstad and Dahaka are the globals, and Kael'thas can siege well enough. And what you do is, as soon as they rotate around to fight you, Dahaka burrows bot lane, Falstad flies mid lane, gets the soak, and then you guys disengage and repeat in another lane. And just out siege him that way.
You would have. That's how you would do it. Have to do it is rotate and stay away, because you're not gonna be able to siege straight up.
Now I pose this threat to you: if you are sieging and you don't catch the rotation, do you think the Medivh has an insane amount of just dive with a portal into the backline? Diablo's through it. He's hitting Lili. Stukov's probably got a silence. Do you think that's a potential threat in the proposed rotation that you made, Bacon?
Oh yeah, for sure. You just gotta catch it in time.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, the KT is gonna have to watch himself because that's the squishiest target that's gonna be easiest to kill.
Yeah, where Sylvanas push comps fail the hardest is trying to get a bad retreat going. Yeah,
because they've overextended, because they've pushing a keep front gate, and teams been missing for a minute and a half.
yeah. What about just like a vanilla comp? Stick a ETC on there. What would be wrong with that?
Yeah,
I mean, there'd be nothing wrong with that.
I think that'd be the best thing because then you got disruption for Diablo. You have the knockback for his portals if you try and get kills, but I mean, as long as you don't lose the lane terribly with your 3-man, your 2 solo laners should be winning, unless Zagara is in another lane and not with the Medivh Diablo.
Yeah, but then they wouldn't be using their Lost Vikings comp to the max potential.
That's kind of the outlier for me. Is that's the difficult part. Is like anytime you go to a tribute, as long as they delay it, I mean, they don't have to win the first 2, and they can, a good Vikings can get you real far in experience after 2 objectives. And
right.
So I mean, if you can delay, and then if you're just delaying it out, and I mean, they have decent kind of poke if the Medivh plays well, but I don't know. Though I will say this: if there's the ETC, there's that beautiful chance that the false stat on the friendly team can gust away your 5-man mosh.
All right, so this is from chat. So Ragnarok says, Garrosh, maybe ETC. Blemish says Butcher.
It's a lot of stacks, but it's a big map.
Well, if you go Butcher, you can kill the Vikings and get your blood that way.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, you can get a lot of stacks, but it's a big map to make those consistent rotations. And a good Vikings player will just start playing them by the gate. At least that's what I would do.
Yeah.
Remember, this is silver level
Vikings.
Vikings. Yeah, this is silver Vikings though. So
I play silver Vikings. I'm just gonna say that right now.
No.
Yeah.
Well,
no.
The ones I've seen.
All right.
No, I know what you're getting at. I know what you're getting at though. I see what you're saying. Yeah. No, they'd probably still put them out far to get the lane experience.
I need to push the lanes, get that experience. I don't know how soaking works.
Mm-hmm. You have to be with the minion wave.
No.
No, you don't. You don't.
Yeah. All right. Well. Yeah. All right. So you guys want to? All right. So what? Let's hear your final guess, and then I'll tell you what the last pick was. So, all right, Scott, what's your last pick?
ETC or Garage, either one of them, or even Blaze. But I'll go with ETC number 1.
Okay. Bacon.
I'll say, let's have some fun. Sylvanas. I like that rotation idea. I think it could work if you're coordinated enough.
There's no coordination in silver, but let's go to
there isn't. I will tell you that there isn't. I'm gonna still go with my first, just like Bacon did. I'm gonna say Zeratul. I honestly think that some people go, I can play a really good Zeratul, and that's my guess.
Sounds like Terror Baron.
Yeah, God. Anyway, enough of Terror Baron. Oh, almost forgot. It's good to be here in the Nexus. All right, now let's so all right, so the last pick was Asmodin.
Oh, that's similar idea. Idea to Sylvanas.
It was happened? There, but I was just like, I was thinking about it because he can stack Sieging Wrath so quick, and even then, if he goes for Taste for Blood, if he gets Viking kills, that is the bonus stack too. Now the question is, did it work?
So what happened was, I didn't watch the entire game because it's a long game, but there was a lot of flaming going on. Joe Jitney, the fan who submitted this, he played Stukov. So on that team, the Vikings team, there was a ton of flame, I think, but the Vikings team won the game.
There always is.
Yeah, they did it. So yeah, it's I watched some of the game. And it was so bizarre that I was like, I can't really learn anything from watching this. So, but they won. So So there you go. That if you want to win in silver, go Vikings. Apparently.
Or Asmodan, that's what I do.
Yeah.
I'm
either
a
way.
I'm a filthy specialist main pretty much.
What? I wasn't paying. What?
I'm a filthy specialist main basically.
Oh, well,
Oh, you're one
play
of those
a lot
guys.
of Asmodan. Play a lot of Asmodan, Vikings. But then I mostly, if I need to actually play, I'll play Lucio, and for tanking, I just ETC. I got my cores down though.
Yeah, no, specialists are really good at that level, to say the least. So, but all right, so there you go. So we're gonna skip the other one because we're actually running out of time. So I wanted to talk about. So we all what's being bandied about in Reddit is that Heroes is going to release a new character during the Eastern Clash, and it's going to be a StarCraft hero to commemorate the 20 year anniversary. So all right, so what do you guys think? We'll go to Bahamut first. What do you think is going to be the new hero for the game?
I personally think, and we were talking about it before the show. I think it's gonna be Mirahan.
Who is that?
She has got. You don't. Did you ever play? What was it? It wasn't the Terran campaign. I'm drawing a blank.
Zerg?
The Zerg one, yeah. It's Heart of the Swarm.
Yeah.
In that campaign, there's a mission where you actually do you fly through space. Essentially, there's like a space map, and you talk with Mirahan, I do believe, during that mission. And she's also, if you look on Warhead Junction on the Allied side, the left-hand side of the map, you will see a flag of her face. So she's technically in the game, and that's my argument.
Is she like the ghost with pink hair or something?
Yep.
Is she?
She's
though?
like she's
I don't
like
think she's
the
I don't think
most
she's a
side
ghost,
of
but
side
she does-
characters though.
Those are the best characters.
I beat the
What about
I beat
Stukov?
that campaign. I hardly remember her being in it.
I might be misremembering. I'll have to look.
She
and
was
get back to you.
what was it? Not Rainer. Rainer's sidekick is sidekick's wife, the guy who would sit on the ship in the campaign.
Matthew Horner, I
Yeah,
think.
yeah. See,
I'm cheating. I'm looking up because I want to find out what mission
There we
she's on.
go.
Because I'm not sure if it's. I
Yeah,
don't
mean,
want
she was in a couple of campaigns or whatever missions, I should say.
Well, out of Heart of the Swarm, I definitely there's the big ones like Abathur and Stukov, but those are already in Dahaka too. Like those are like the big arc characters, but Mirahan.
So
I want
Ragnar-
to see
Yeah.
General Minsk
Ooh.
with his
Oh.
ultimate of propaganda, and he just has the enemy team fight each other. It's like a taunt where they're attacking each other. And one of his abilities is going to be tactical retreat, where he just when he's in battle and he could just fly to another lane and soak.
Ragnarok is actually posting the exact rumor that I was just kind of mentioning before. Did you hear the rumor that Mirahan and Matt Horner are going to be released as a duo, kind of like Cho'Gall?
Oh my god, that sounds awful.
That sounds amazing. More Cho'Gall like heroes.
Like Minsk is the Deckard Cain of StarCraft in terms of the hero theory. Like, no, I don't think. I think people like to think about him as a hero, as a concept, but in reality, it's like, no, we don't need another Probius.
It'd just be funny.
If Deckard Cain came out, I would probably just main him. That's it.
No, you wouldn't. You would not.
You just
You
throw
say
books at
this.
people or something.
This is your heart talking and your balls talking.
Yeah, I'm
but
gonna hurt
this-
and make morph my Herodric cube.
Yeah.
I'll be back in battle in another 2 minutes.
So
There's-
Bacon Sleepy Gary says, "Don't shame Deckard Cain. Don't do it."
Oh.
I mean, I love memes just as much as everyone else, but let memes be dreams. Let the memes be dreams.
So, do you guys think
I
it's gonna
think
be a
I think the
warrior?
biggest contender front runner is probably like Phoenix or Talendar.
Yeah, that is true.
Oh, the Dragoon, you think?
He's not a Dragoon. He's
Phoenix was in a Dragoon though, right?
yeah. But
In the
like I
original
think
StarCraft?
if they brought in Phoenix, he would probably be the zealot form. right?
Or could you bring him in as a potential multi-class hero, and we could finally have a second one?
Oh God, I don't know.
Did I
dude.
just like cause an aneurysm?
You just
Oh,
ca-
when he
you
gets his
just-
level 10, he hops in the Dragoon, and now he's ranged instead of a Zealot. Oh, that'd be badass.
Phoenix Zealot, Phoenix Dragoon, and then Phoenix as Talendar. That's
Oh,
like
it'd be like Diva, where Diva hops in and out of her mech, he hops in and out of his Dragoon.
But how would you go back from Talendar to Zealot form?
That I don't know. That's
Also-
why I'm not
also-
a developer.
No, and in terms of the lore, Phoenix is actually dead. Talendar is a separate entity, separate being, because
Ooh.
yeah, because he was an experimental robot war machine that was created, and the personality that was imprinted onto him was a copy. Like they downloaded Phoenix's personality and put it in Talendar's body, so it's not actually Phoenix. Phoenix
But don't
is
we
dead
have
completely.
we have dead people in the Nexus who are dead in lore, correct?
Yeah, Garage.
But it wouldn't be
Varian's dead.
multi-class in terms
Varian.
of Zealot to Dragoon to
I
whatever
get I see what
Talendar
you're
is.
saying. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
there's the disconnect.
Okay, I got you.
I'm looking at a small list. Celendis, I don't think so. She was like the lore keeper of the Protoss, right?
Oh God, is she the?
No.
She's at the start of the Protoss campaign. Am I not correct? Isn't she like
She is.
my Protoss lore is horrible.
Yeah. I mean, I play Legacy of the Void, and all those names they fuse into one.
Yeah,
Can't
that's what I was
remember
like.
any of them.
I
'cause-
didn't play Legacy of the Void. So I don't
People
know.
were saying Karax, who's the Forge Master,
Ooh.
but another specialist Protoss hero, like after Probius, like would we want another one?
No.
I mean, we haven't had a specialist since Probius, I guess.
For a reason.
Because because the entire class is OP. That's why.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'll just let me have this. Just
You
let me
can't
have
break
this.
the meta too much. Yeah, I agree with you. Who is
So
Rohana?
Bubble this, I guess, says that there are a ton of WoW characters that are dead.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's
But,
a lot
alright.
of other characters that
You
are
guys
dead
think-
too.
Do you guys think it's going to be like a warrior, assassin, or a healer?
Ooh.
I wouldn't mind an actual StarCraft. I wouldn't mind like another support from StarCraft, because we're currently sitting at 2 that are like considered full support, and then there's Tassadar,
Yeah.
Wait,
I feel
Tassadar,
like I'm
Stukov,
missing-
and Morales.
Lieutenant Morales. Yeah, Lieutenant Morales. I feel like I'm missing one though for some reason. I don't know why.
No, there's only 3.
Okay, yeah. So I mean, it's the same thing. Like, I at the same time would also still love to have another like main tank, because you know
Yeah.
Blaze falls in between. He can do both, but I would really like to just have like a StarCraft tank where like I can take him into a game and I'm like, this is the tank, and I'm just gonna protect my team.
What about another ranged assassin? Mix it
Get
up.
out of here.
It's a
Yeah.
little the meta's a little stale.
It's not stale.
What kind of ranged assassin?
Not Tracer. Closer to like
Although
a Hanzo Vala style.
the hypermobility is an Overwatch characteristic, so
Yeah.
it wouldn't be hypermobile like that.
Well, don't you feel like if it's the 20-year anniversary for StarCraft, it would be a big character, not like a one-off smaller character, right?
That is a good point, actually.
Yeah. So it'll probably be like Phoenix. Phoenix is if it was truly like if Tassadar wasn't in the game, like it would definitely be Tassadar. Like I mean, all the big name StarCraft heroes are already in the game, so
We get Overmind finally. That's it.
Yeah,
We
I
get
was gonna-
StarCraft
I was
specialist
Overmind, get the
thinking
fuck
that-
out. That's
It's a souped
Abathur
up
2.0.
Abathur.
Yep.
you Decker Kane multi-class
Super
loving specialist motherfuckers. Goddamn.
It's
Oh, you and no wonder you and Hero Physio get along.
Renamed abilities and new skin.
Oh I mean, Overmind would be cool. Like, but
Yeah.
didn't they say they already tried like the core hero mechanic?
Well, they tried.
to do
I
that
mean,
with Rag.
they tried to
Yeah.
move the core. They tried to have him literally be it, and they were like, "That's not true to his character," and it also like open up a million avenues for trolling.
Yeah. And Overmind kind of seems like a hero that would take over the core. And it wouldn't be just like a body on the battlefield like Abathur, because we already have Abathur.
I feel like you'd maybe control a little bit further. You control some sort of like unit production or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, you could control like a fort or a keep or something.
Or you can take all of the minion waves and put them into mid, and then just push with that. That's how you can do it.
That sounds
You
fair.
actually get to play. It's Here's the Storm RTS.
That sounds so toxic to do that.
Oh yeah.
But
well, my money's on Phoenix.
I mean,
is
that would
Phoenix
be really cool.
is Phoenix a dragon?
Yes.
It's Jean Grey, actually.
No, seriously. No, is it really a dragon?
He's
No?
a Protoss.
Oh, okay.
He's a Protoss war hero, and he
They
died.
actually,
and
Last April Fools, there was someone who made like a fan video of Talendar or a Phoenix coming into the game and having all these different modes, and he was just completely OP, and he was just like doing like literally like his upper body was doing spin moves and just like busting up variants and stuff. So definitely like check out that video because it's really really well done. Like I watched it, I'm like, this is a really cool character we're getting, and then I'm like, this is April Fools. Why do I believe anything today?
Oh man.
wait, by the time that video comes out, and then the heroes team actually takes a look at it, considers it, and then starts developing it, this is around the time a hero would be released.
I
right?
mean, we
Yeah,
are
it's
like
been a year.
9 to 10 months. I mean, we're
Yeah.
actually no, yeah, you're right. Yeah, we're really close
We're
to it.
right
So
or-
it's possible.
It was April Fool's last year. It's March right now. We're about the 11-month mark. So
Because I think during the Heroes 2.0 release, they said it takes about 9-ish months to develop a hero, and then maybe sometimes it gets pushed around. But I like
Phoenix
where you're
or
going with this.
Talendar. Yeah.
I like where you're going with that.
All right. All right. So, all right. Well, we'll see what happens with. I hope they release a new character. It'd be nice to get another one in the game. I feel like it's been a while since.
It's been 6 weeks.
Yeah, I feel like we need another one at this point. But
What do you guys think about this new release cycle?
I kind of like it a little bit.
Has it been 6 weeks since we've had a new hero?
I
it's
think
Blaze, right? No, Maiev. Sorry,
No,
Maiev.
Maiev.
Yeah.
Maiev release was February 4 or something.
Yeah.
But that was on the PTR, right?
February 6. No, launched
Live?
February 6. Yep.
She's been in the
she
Nexus
had an early
for-
release.
Holy crap! She's
5
been in the game
weeks.
for that long.
5 weeks
I
today.
feel like she's been in the game for like 2 weeks. Wow.
No.
Jeez.
Well, it feels fresh in your mind because she
Yeah.
was just played in the Clash, right? And it's the first we've seen of her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was, I
middle.
think, her first availability in the HCC, actually.
Yeah. Yeah. So we might go 2 months without a hero. Close to that.
If it gives us proper reworks on some heroes that might need it, Lost Vikings, I'm all for it.
That'll
Next
never
one
happen.
is Lunara. That's
Yeah, I know. They said that they're looking at her, which I can only assume that that's probably just going to be the next one.
Well, they've had some solid reworks. I like the Sonya rework.
Mhm.
Eve one seems decent too.
Yeah.
I haven't got to play it yet.
Yeah, Tyrael's rework is really good too. So I feel like this is pure speculation, but I feel like they actually have more time to focus on stuff like that now. Because I feel like last calendar year they're just like rushing to get stuff out, and now they're maybe taking more time with stuff
Well,
potentially.
we got like almost 80 heroes now. We don't need one coming out every 3 weeks.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
if you actually look at the hero release schedule in the past since release, I do believe every year they've actually done one more hero than the previous year. I was talking with someone and they were like, they've gone downhill. And I'm like, no, they've actually done more every single year. So don't say that they're not doing stuff. But and I actually kind of, and what Scott said exactly, and I 100% agree with that. Let the game breathe. We're in a spot where I think a lot of things need to get touched, like Raynor, like legit. Raynor does need to get touched. It's bid forever, and I think he's very interesting. It's just there's no spot for him because of where everything kind of sits right now.
Everybody else does what he does, but
Exactly.
more specialized and better.
Mhm.
I mean, for players like us who really invest time into the game, and no matter what happens in the game, like we only really care about the meta and like understanding the game. So I guess like slower release benefits that because let's be honest, sometimes there's just so much like patch burnout, like especially last year with Heroes 2.0 and the amount of content that was there. It's just too much. But
I like these, yeah.
casual players love that shit. They eat it up. Oh, new hero, new skin. Let's spend some money. Like that's the vast majority of the player base, right?
I will say I had a friend who used to play the game and they would show up every release, play the hero for like a week, and then they would disappear till next release.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I mean that was their cycle. But I mean, hey, I mean if that's how you want to play the game, that's fine. But like I mean, I kind of said at the beginning of the segment, like I fell in love with this game when I really started casting it, and I've just pushed myself further and further, and like that's where it becomes like I enjoy the new heroes and I like the lust and the wonder around it, but like we can take a break and maybe look at some of the stuff that needs to get touched and prioritized.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I agree since
Oh,
all
sorry.
of
I
us
was
are on the
uh,
same side of the meta coin.
sorry, I was typing a penis in chat.
Thanks. Thanks. All right.
That's funny. All right.
Eastern Clash.
Right.
Who wins? Bahamut. Go.
Oh, I always go for. I don't know. I've always loved KSV Black, but like they have just been kind of in between. It feels.
Yes.
A little bit slow on the uptake of the new
Yeah.
meta.
Yeah, that's honestly, I'll like they're my favorite, and I'll root for them, but I'll be honest, they're looking a little shaky.
Haven't they always been like that though? Kind of slow to the meta, and then like 6 months later, oh, they're the best team in the world because they figured
I
it
do
out.
feel like they do show up at events. They definitely put on a show at events, and I think they feel maybe more comfortable at those than they do, just in kind of just I guess you'd say the early season or the playoffs.
Yeah.
I don't know. I wouldn't know how to actually call the right term, but yeah, they definitely do show up at LAN.
Well, who's the final then? Let's do that.
God.
I feel like there's like only like 3 teams that could be there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
KSV
what's
Tempest
L5 or Ballistics maybe? Am I
It's
thinking-
Ballistics now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Ballistics,
definitely-
Tempest, and KSV Black obviously are going to be top 3, but who's the top
Yes.
2?
I really like Ballistics, to be honest. Oh,
Really?
webcam? I don't know. I think that they could be interesting in the finals. I think that they could pull out some interesting stuff.
I'd like to see Tempest take it. I know they're number 1 now, but they've been the number 3 team in Korea for like all of last year,
Yeah.
probably longer than that. So I'd like to see them have their time in the spotlight.
That's true.
You know,
That's true.
you know who deserves a time in the spotlight? KSV
Who's that?
Black. I'd like to see them win. Rich is my boy. He's been killing it with streams lately. Like he's been streaming so often, and
I'm just peeking over at the standings right now, and actually, yeah. So Tempest went 7-0, Ballistics went 6-1, and KSV went 5-2.
yeah.
But even then, like if you look at map win loss, Tempest only dropped 2 maps of the entire, before this. So
And I think KSV played Tempest early in this rounds.
I
They
think you're-
played week
yeah.
1 and got 3-0'd by Tempest.
They
yeah,
did, like,
I remember
a-
there was a huge upset about that. Yeah.
No, they
Yeah,
did
so
like a
that's also
Tyrael
when the
judgment.
meta's still kind of settling down, so you never really know what's gonna happen at the clash. So, let's go KSV. Fringe, what do you think?
I don't know anything about. I'm just gonna watch the finals, but I sure KSV, I guess. But my heart pulls for Tempest. How about that?
Do you think they're gonna harp on the EU versus, China versus Korea battle like drama they had going on for the
No.
Western
No.
Clash? That was.
I don't know. There isn't a big story between Korea and China as there is like between EU and NA. Like,
Yeah.
right? I don't think that there is one. Like, to be
think-
honest, don't look at Twitch chat.
Is China gonna be even relevant to where you could even think about doing that kind of banter?
Mm,
I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see, but we'll see though. Like, I'll probably watch like the last day and then go from there. But anyway, we'll see how it goes. But all right. So our last segment is very brief, but it's a new segment, and it's called Story Time with Fringe, with Fringe Average. So I had like this really weird Sunday, and so I was on Sunday. I went hiking with this one girl, and we it was like a second quote unquote date, and so it was just a hike, and then we ended up going to a brewery, and I got kind of drunk. I got really drunk, and then we came back home, and then she left, but apparently she left her thermos in my living room. And for those of you who have never been to my house, which is everyone, my bedroom's upstairs. So anyway, I was she left it around whatever 7, 8 o'clock, and so I'm still pretty drunk. So I'm like, well, I'll play some HOTS, and I turn on HOTS, and Hero Physio is there, and so is Daz. So I'm playing games with both of them, and anyway, so I'm playing the game. I have my headphones on. I can't, these are noise canceling headphones, so I don't hear very much. But apparently, what ends up happening is that she texts me and calls me a couple times saying, hey, I left my thermos. Can I come get it? And I left my phone in my backpack because I'm drunk and I don't care about my phone anymore. So what ends up happening is that she comes to the front door, knocks on it, and rings the doorbell. I don't hear it because I have the headphones on and I'm playing with Hero Physio and Daz. And so apparently my door was unlocked. So she just opens the front door. She grabs the thermos and she says to herself, "Huh? Should I go up? I can hear Matt. Oh, sorry, I can hear Fringe talking upstairs." So what she does, she grabs the thermos, walks upstairs, and is standing in my doorway watching me play HOTS. And then I don't hear her. I don't know she's there. And then I hear hey Matt, and I turn around, I see her. I'm like, oh my god! I got really scared. There's a person in my house. like, what the fuck are you doing in my house? And she's like, did you get my calls or texts? I'm like, no. I was like, why are you in my house? And so anyways, so I get up from the game.
Do you want to fuck?
No, I don't. I do not want to do that. No. So I get up from the game and I say, we got to go downstairs. And we walk downstairs and I tell her, why the fuck are you in my house? She's like, I want my thermos. I'm like, what the fuck? I could have given you the thermos any other time. Anyway, so I totally get out of the house, and I haven't talked to her since.
Obviously, after you said, why the fuck are you in my house?
Yeah.
Even if you tried to talk to her, I don't think she'd talk to you.
Who knows? But anyway, it's my decision. But anyway, so anyway, I go back upstairs, and I'm freaking out this entire time because this woman was in my house for God knows how long. And so I was playing with Hero Physio and Daz, as I said before. And so obviously I'm very shook up by this whole event, right? Because, someone comes into my house unexpected. And so Hero Physio tends to, he goes on to pick Sergeant Hammer in our next game.
Makes
and
sense.
he goes the ultimate where like you have that big rocket shell ultimate.
PFG.
Yeah.
BFG,
So
yeah.
he goes that level 10, and then he got level 20, he goes the upgrade.
Orbital
level 20.
BFG, yeah.
Yeah, so he's fucking trolling me really hard, and I was really shaken by this whole event. And Daz is trying to be nice about it because he's Canadian and nice, but like, Hero
So
Physio,
isn't Hero Physio Canadian too?
he's not really Canadian.
Okay, sorry. Keep going.
No, but anyway, so yeah, and like I could hear him and like laughing to himself because he knows that I'm very shaken and like scared, and he decides to troll me even harder. And so that was my Sunday afternoon / Sunday night, and so there you go. That's the story. That's story time with Fringe. So there you go.
I'm glad you had fun.
There was no fun actually. It ruined everything. It was awful. I had trouble sleeping that night because I thought that like, what if she came back in the house again? Even though I locked the door, but I just like fuck. So
At one point, I thought you were gonna say, "And she killed me." Like,
Well, I thought, I literally thought that. I thought she may have had like a knife or something like that. Like she was mad that I didn't do something or I did something that I didn't know.
was she standing in the doorway? Like, what was her facial expression? Like,
She was confused. I think she was kind of confused. Yeah, but I don't know. I was again. I was still pretty drunk, and then seeing someone in your house that you don't know is supposed to be there. It's pretty ominous, I guess. I don't know, but
Well, maybe
anyway,
you gotta lock your door.
Yeah,
well, I was telling
it's a little
Daz.
creepy. It's like, why this girl's fucking stalking me?
Yeah. Well, like
Were
I was
you
telling
interested
Daz,
in her, like, to begin with, or?
Not really. I mean, she was fine, but like once I got to know her more, I was like, you're kind of crazy. Not in the good way, I guess, but
And
Like
then her
crazy,
standing
like,
in the
going
doorway
to
completely
Other people's
solidified.
houses, uninvited.
But no, but like that's my usually I like honestly when I'm home I just have the door unlocked because I have Canadian values. But anyway, that was my Sunday, and that's why I'm not drinking right now because I had way too much on Sunday. So taking a break from the
Whimsy.
colds.
Blemdy suggests you buy a gun.
I should I should just go to Byron's house and just take
Oh,
one.
yeah. Byron will show you how to use it.
Yeah. Well, he would also show me his. Anyway, I'm not gonna go down that path. But anyway, yeah, we'll see how that goes. But anyway, so again, thank you to Bahamut for coming on the show
Thanks for having me.
and lowering your standards. So
Not at all.
so again, Bahamut, tell the listeners where they can find your content. And stuff like
You can find me at twitch.tv/Bahamut Gaming, on Twitter at Bahamut Gaming, on YouTube, on Facebook. All of those are at Bahamut Gaming. Go ahead and check me out. It's mostly for on Twitch. It's just a lot of Heroes of the Storm, Hero League, and also a ton of casting. There's a little bit of a break right now in casting, so it's just a lot of Hero League. But come by and hang out and just chat. I mean, it's mostly just some games and chill music and just hanging out for a couple hours. Otherwise, yeah, that's my love right there.
Yeah,
And-
actually, I very much enjoy your casting. It's very enjoyable.
Thank you.
And I have to say, I really dig the look you got going on. I like to, I think I'll call it upside down Bob Ross or something. Do you know what I mean with that?
But how long?
When I
How
got
long, how long did it take to grow that beard? By the way.
So
Yeah,
this
it's
isn't all of it.
amazing.
This isn't actually all of it. First off, I stopped
crap.
shaving. I stopped shaving in 2010. I've trimmed probably 6 inches off over the years, just because I literally do get you get split ends, and it actually helps it grow better. But if because right now it's actually tucked back there, so it looks like nice and round and everything. But like when it's not, and actually I think someone clipped it on my stream, like I can touch like the top of my head with the length of my
Holy
beard.
shit.
Yeah, it's pretty long.
Ooh.
So there's already jokes like I saw in your chat, like Rag was like talking, or someone was talking about Deckard Cain cosplay. There's on my Twitter handle, you can actually see someone, I think the same person who clipped me doing the beard thing, photoshopped my face on Falstead. So there's like Falstead cosplay I'm supposed to do. So I mean, yeah, it's but
You
yeah,
could
no, I have.
you could glue a pole to your head and be like, I'm a paintbrush.
That is awesome.
Easiest Halloween costume ever
Yeah.
done right there.
Dye part of your beard a color, so it's
Yeah.
been dipped
So
in
it looks like
paint.
it's dipped into paint. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Oh shit. That's good.
do you have any is there ever a possibility that you would ever shave it off?
No, because I don't see the point. Like, I live
That's
in a mountain
amazing.
town, and like I actually grew it out because like it's like I'm bald, and this is what I can do to keep my face warm. So like
Nice.
9 times out of 10, if I'm not wearing headphones, I have to wear a hat because I'm always cold. But yeah, no, I don't see the point in shaving it off.
Okay. Well, yeah, you have had the biggest beard on the podcast.
Thank you.
So
Oh, I think our host is jealous.
Yep,
now
that's
this
for
is
sure.
as
And every chance he gets, he compares beards, and now he's actually
Yeah.
complimenting someone with a beard. That's the first on the show after
Thank
104
you. I
episodes.
appreciate it.
as someone who has a beard, I've had a beard for like 5 years now, but like, as someone who gets food in his beard regularly, I can
Oh
feel like
my
it's only
God.
more, I feel like it's even more of a pain in the ass for,
Well, I mean,
Bahamut.
like my mustache is like super long. Like I'm still pulling mustache right there, and so
Oh,
like it
damn.
just anything with a sauce is like bite and wipe. Like that's the rule here.
Bite and wipe?
Bite and wipe. You take a bite of food and you wipe your mustache because there's
Oh,
usually just
yeah,
crap
yeah.
always in it.
Or you just eat like
not the other kind of wipe. Like it's
Yeah,
not like
like
wipe and
you like eat like this. Peel your lips back.
Oh man. All right, so Bahamut, I want you to say this one phrase when I'm going to call you in about 20 seconds. All right, I want you to say, "That's our show, and we'll see you in the Nexus." All right.
I will do my best.
All right. Bahamut, take us out.
That's our show. We'll see you in the Nexus.
Boom, better than Taraburn.
Yeah, everyone blow ASAP. Now go. Jesus Christ.
He missed it! Last one was so much better.
He missed it.
That's the outro. We're good.
The miss on the stage.